when you go to repay it. You get 9 months after you leave us before you have to start. And the payments are quarterly, 4 times a year, unlike Stafford, which is monthly. You still get 10 years total if you borrowed that much, if you needed it. I don't think they let you have a payment smaller than $50, so usually Perkins, I don't think it takes you 10 years to pay off. The only reason I hesitate to mention it is the federal government for the last 4 years has debated, are we going to still fund Perkins or aren't we? Are we or aren't we? Are we or aren't we? There's been stronger talk this year of not funding it, but I still have the funds. I'm moving forward at least until they make up their mind, because they waffle in Congress, as we know. I'm still moving forward saying, hey, if it's something you think you would be interested in, it doesn't hurt to give us a call. We will not start looking for Perkins recipients until at least the end of June. So this is something just to think about midsummer, okay, mid to late. I can't guarantee it, but it's worth at least throwing it out there for you. I told you Perkins was a flat 5%. When we talked about Stafford, I think I didn't tell you the interest rate there. It is variable. The Feds set that interest rate every year in July. All I can tell you is this year's rate, but it will expire before your children actually get their Stafford loans dispersed to them in September. It was 4.3% this year, okay, so it wasn't bad. It has a cap of 9%. It hasn't been up there in years, so I don't envision it. But just to give you a frame of reference, that's the Stafford, okay? Trying to think what else will help you. Payment plans. I like payment plans. I don't know, I'm a big fan. I get excited when the things come up about Kmart and Walmart have layaway available, before Christmas. I'm like, ooh, I love that. Because if I have the ability to make small payments, and I'm not borrowing anything, I'm not putting anything on a credit card, I just feel like I'm saving money. It's exciting. We'd also offer, it's not called layaway, we use TMS, Tuition Management Systems, is a third-party vendor. So it's not Claritin, it's a third-party vendor. We send information out to the students. Actually, we'll have that in the estimated award letter, because we like to advertise the use of that to our families. Basically, it may keep you from having, if there's a gap, if the student doesn't get enough money, it may very well keep you from having to take out a Parent Plus loan. Or if you have to do a Parent Plus loan, it would help you get a much smaller one. Because what it's asking you to do, and how you use the payment plan through TMS, how much can our family afford to pay on a monthly basis, okay? If you don't opt for the payment plan, Claritin's gonna send you a bill twice a year. We bill in July, once tuition is settled, and we bill again in December. It's not a holiday, happy Ingrid. No, it's a bill. So we bill twice a year. You pay 50% for the fall semester, you pay 50% for the spring semester. Anything not covered by financial aid that we're aware that your son or daughter has received. Obviously, in some cases, especially if you don't qualify for Pell or you don't qualify for the state, it can still be a fairly significant amount. Coming up with that payment in 2 lump sums can be difficult. However, you may be able to say, you know what, realistically, I think we could afford a $300 a month payment for the next 10 months. That's $3,000 if I use the 10-month payment plan option that I'm not borrowing from anyone. I'm literally just paying $300 a month. Here's my $3,000. I don't have a parent loan at a higher interest rate. I don't have a private loan. I'm not taking money out on a home equity loan. I just am done. When I'm done with that 10th payment, I'm done for that year. Next year, I can opt to do it again, or I can decide maybe I want to look into some other product, instead. It works very well. The frustration I think our families have is you tell us we can do a 12-month plan or a 10-month plan. To do the 12-month plan, you'd have to sign up with TMS in June or July early, probably before we have the final figure on how much financial aid / how much our charges are going to be. Claritin is a state school, so we typically don't get to set our own tuition. It's really based and predicated on the state legislature, and they don't meet until after the 4th of July. This drives, especially new parents, absolutely nuts. Because you're at work or you're with your friends and they're telling you that they got the bill from this private school, in April, and they know exactly what they have to come up with. They have their bottom line. And you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, did I miss something? Claritin sent something and I don't know about it. I am terribly unprepared for this. What am I going to do? No. Any of the state schools were all the same. We do not get to set our own tuition. It is driven by the Commonwealth. Most years, they're very good about getting the official numbers out there as quickly as possible when they meet right after the 4th of July. Every once in a year, but this isn't an election year, so we should be okay. The governor and the state legislature are fighting, and they're dithering, and that puts all of our tuition things, on the back burner, but I don't anticipate that for this year at all. So just something to think about. Like I said, I'm just trying to tell you up front, don't stress out about that. But regardless, you can use our estimated cost that you will get in that award letter to sign up if you're interested with TMS, so that you could take advantage not only of a 10-month plan, but maybe a 12-month plan. That makes your payments even smaller. So it's just something to keep in mind. You would have that option open to you. TMS historically charges $50. That is the only money above and beyond your bill that you end up paying. So again, there's no hidden fees, that's just their cost for doing business, because they follow up with you, they send you reminders, they do all the processing for it. We do not get that money. So like I said, it works very well. Whatever portion is left over that you may want to make a payment directly for the student, you will do that most likely electronically. We moved to using, again, it's a different third party, it's called TouchNet. It's fairly seamless. Your son or daughter can set you up to make online payments whenever you want. I mean, if he suddenly tells you, Mom, I had to get my ID replaced, so they charged me $10. I don't have $10, can you just pay that for me? If you're set up as the parent, you can log into it looks like my Claritin, which is what your students log into, your children. You can log in and you can make that payment. You can do it with credit card, debit card, e-check. I will tell you, again, maybe I'm just cheap, but I would recommend that you use debit card or e-check, because if you use a credit card, it's not bad if you're just paying $10 or $25 or even $100. But if you're using a credit card because you want to get the points, maybe you've got one of the airlines or something where you get bonus points for mileage. Keep in mind, TouchNet has a service fee of 2.75%. And again, I guess it's me just being cheap, but I'm thinking to myself, I would want to know if I was making a substantial payment, $500, $1,000, wait a minute, and they're honest. It comes up and it says the service fee for this payment is, and it calculates it for you. So you can be like, whoa, back off. I don't want to do that. I'll use my debit or I'll do an e-check, because those are free. But keep in mind, you can't pay us direct and send us a paper check. Well, don't send us cash, that'd be kind of scary. You can stop by and give us cash, but you can't use a credit card without incurring that convenience fee. So it won't be as difficult, I think, for you guys. We had to really publicize that for our returning students 2 years ago. Another thing to think about that doesn't help pay the bill, but is definitely an option at Claritin, work-study. You guys are probably familiar with that. Students work. Some of your students are probably working while they're in high school. If you are interested, if they are interested in continuing to work, it's minimum wage in most cases, so they're not going to be rich, and it does not help pay that bill. But it gives them a paycheck. They get paid every 2 weeks. The money is theirs. We don't garnish wages. Well, you work 70 hours, and this would have been your paycheck, but no, we don't do that. They work the hours, they get paid. Sometimes freshmen, it works incredibly well for them because it really gives them a sense of almost being grounded. I know in our office we have about 8 student employees, and I would imagine that they would say, I feel like I have about 5 more mothers that are constantly, so how'd you do on that test? How are you doing? Oh, I saw you with this boy, how's that? And a lot of times students, I think, flourish with that because this is their first time away from home. Other students may say, you know what, I need to really get my head wrapped around studying and some social activities. Maybe I'm in a sport. I don't have time to work. I don't want to do a job. I can't have that commitment on top of trying to get good grades. So it's a case-by-case decision for you. I would tell you that our career services office, and I know they were here at the resource fair, when you think of career services, you're thinking, well, that's 4 years down the road, right? When they're getting closer to graduating or going to graduate school. It's also a tool to help them find part-time jobs now while they're students. They can register, they can do this over the summer while they're not on campus, and they can kind of just check that out, see who's hiring. Most of the offices on campus will post through career services any